That's all wrong. He's got to, up until the ayahuasca tea, he was doing great. Yes, we're all holographic, but I can't comment too much on that.
You've talked about reptilians masquerading as angels, putting on their angel costumes and putting on light being costumes. And that reptilians have engineered the near-death experiences to dupe humans, and that when spirit people die, they're actually propelled and dumped into the astral. Tell me about your take on the whole near-death and dying experience.
I know that there are people who go into higher worlds. I can't talk to them. They're unavailable, but I have heard that they are, because I know I've asked about some of my loved ones, and they are in a place that's safe. They weren't grabbed and eaten. The people in the lower astral, I think, had problems in their lives, and for some reason the kids got in there too. I don't know how exactly why that happened. When they die, when I've reversed anybody talking about their near-death experience, even though it sounds wonderful in forward speech, it's all about rape, fright, abuse, being knocked around, being threatened, and then they reflect back your own spirituality. We all are very powerful and spiritual. They can manipulate the right temporal lobe and give you lights, camera, action, angels, visions. They can do, because they know our minds. So they erase the abuse, then they give you this beautiful vision, and that's what you come back with, except in your reverse speech part of the mind. That's where you remember what really happened.
Now, Alex Collier talks about the reptilians being master geneticists, and initially having engineered the human race to be a slave race, a mining race for them, and that part of our DNA was taken out, and the reptilian mind, which is the reptilian complex, the R complex in the brain, being inserted there. And do you think this is the way that they're able to know the human mind and manipulate it, or do you have another take on that?
I think that's pretty much right.
Tell me about the masquerading as angels and light beings. Why would they do that, and how do they do that?
They will scan your mind to see what you relate to. If you have a vision of angels with wings and, feminine, blonde, or whatever, they'll appear like that. If you are looking for an Eastern guru with a long beard, they'll give you what they know you would relate to.
In reality,
so they're master manipulators.
They're shapeshifters. Whatever you think or whatever you're looking for, that's what you'll get.
So people who are channeling angels.
I've never heard any channeling that was pure.
And how about a human hearing audible voices or whispers?
That would be an implant, definitely.
Does a television medium like John Edward, who has a syndicated TV show, is he channeling people who have passed on to the safe spot, like some of your relatives? Or is he channeling reptilians who are pretending to be loved ones, or is he just a fake?
Well, the mediums, and I haven't done John Edward much. I just do a little bit, but I've done other mediums, and they're channeling reptilians who, when I say channeling, what happens is, if you're the sitter, there'll be a reptilian scanning your mind to see who you want to talk to. Then they will give the medium that information through symbols and voices and audio implants, so that the medium is then telling you about your granny. But everybody on the other side knows what's going on. They're not going to be giving you, it's just so wonderful over here. Nobody would.
Now let's talk about the reptilian history with Earth humans. You say the reptilian race from Orion has been here for thousands of years and maybe longer, at first presenting themselves as the gods and then using their technology and genetic know-how to manipulate the human race for their own ends. That, it seems, involves using the human being as a food source, an energy source, a plaything, a slave, and a marketable item. So initially you say that, as well, you mentioned the reptilians are physical beings and do have physical bodies, but these, it appears, are kept in a storage place once they arrive here, while they encase themselves in a physical human form to operate behind the scenes. They have mastery over the fourth dimension, which for us is the world of dreams and astral travel. This is everything that we've been taught it's not.
Right. Yeah. They come here. Now, Roger was the one who, because he's had so many encounters with them, watched them deplane. He watched them get off. He was taken astrally to, actually he was, I don't know if it was astral, but he said that he saw them coming in from the homeworld, that they would have on these sort of, almost like latex costume faces. And they would use these while they're in transport, and I guess not to get anybody's attention. They have physical bodies, which they may keep on when they're underground or in these bases, because people have said they've seen reptilians. That's when they're in the physical. But they found that if they can take off, get out, step out of their physical body, step into a human physical body, they can operate here behind the scenes, controlling and manipulating without any problem. So that's really how they do it.
You said also that the reptilians found the planet in the Sirius system.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
All I know is that I've heard this about 5 times, that there was an inhabited planet in the Sirius system, and there are Sirians here who are also in this fight. But they said that is fouled and uninhabitable. That the aliens or the owl fouled that planet.
Do you think there's a possibility that the metaphor, the wolf, relates to Sirius, the dog star?
I know you mentioned that. I don't know. I never thought about it. I just always thought that it was having to do with them.
Reptilians, okay. Now you talk about the Owl's Opera. What is the Owl's Opera?
The Owl's Opera is this great theater that we have going on out here.
And it initially occurred because there was an invasion by a very advanced race from Orion, that being the Reptilians?
Yeah.
How long ago did that happen?
I don't really know how many thousands of years. They've been here for a long time.
And what was Earth like before they showed up?
It was supposedly, I've heard, it was beautiful. It was, one woman called it my Eden. You took away my Eden. We, as a species, the human race, was evolving on this beautiful planet just wonderfully, but naive enough to when these gods came, so-called, and they wowed everybody with their technologies, and then they started this whole thing. So, every culture has its gods and goddesses, the Greek gods and all these different Sumerians, and I think, but it was after the last passing of the planet X with the great flood stories that are all over, that's when they decided not to come back in their own, or in a physical form. That was when the decision was made to come and be cloaked within human beings, so that, because all of a sudden there are no gods. Now all of a sudden we're sort of left on our own, but we're not. That's when they decided to use the cloaking of humans.
You say there were advanced reptilian geneticists that manipulated human DNA. Is that or am I confusing that with somebody else?
I think that's probably true, but I don't know that.
You haven't heard it in reverse speech.
It's hard to get that kind of technical information.
Now, tell me if you have a problem with any of these statements. Reptilians mated with human women to create bloodline families.
That's probably true.
Icke material. Reptilians leave their reptilian bodies in storage when they come here.
I think that's true.
Reptilians survived the last time Planet X passed.
They left. They loosened the net as the planet made the passage. Then they sent down their minions to check out the situation. And once things settled down, they came back. That's what I heard in reverse.
And the reptilians set up all the political, religious, and financial structures on Earth.
Yes.
You said in your final posting on your website, there are those here who were brought down while trying to help and have been stuck in the reincarnational cycle. They have had their memories wiped and are just plugging along like most of the planet. I think the difference is that those from elsewhere are always trying to figure things out. They are not really comfortable here. They, all of you I would suspect, are on these types of websites reading voraciously different esoteric books, whether religious, metaphysical, UFO, paranormal, etc. There is the feeling that something is wrong, and they're always seeking answers. So how did the reptilians put up